Good morning, everyone, and welcome to All Faiths Unitarian Congregation. My name is Joyce Rame, and I will be leading our service today. Here, you will find a diverse and inclusive spiritual community where we welcome people with many beliefs. You can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. At All Faiths, we have more than one way of experiencing the world and understanding the sacred. No matter who you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and whomever you love, you are truly welcome here. Is anyone visiting for the first or second time today? If so, please raise your hands. Any visitors? Welcome, we're glad you're here. Great. If you'd like to know more about All Faiths or Unitarian Universalism, you can talk with Fran Way at our Welcoming Center by the folding doors after the service. We have a few announcements. On Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Zoom, we'll have our Climate Action Team meeting. We have a very active Climate Action Team, and actually our speaker today is part of that team. She's Holly Rowan. She's from our sister congregation, UUCFM, and a leader of the Reset Center, which is a beneficiary of our Share the Plate for the Climate Action Team. And it's so important that everyone work together to deal with this environmental crisis. Saturday at 2 p.m. we have the choir practice, and Carlos invites anyone that wants to sing to come and try it out. You don't have to be an opera star. Just come and enjoy singing together. Saturday at 12:30, our Solos group will be having lunch at the Bonefish Grill in Fort Myers. And Saturday night, remember, reset your clocks. Daylight saving time ends. Remember that thing? Spring ahead, fall back. So 6 o'clock in the morning when my dog gets me up is going to be 5 a.m. Okay. Sundays at 9:15 in the morning, we have News Talk with Ray Ellis. And next Sunday at 10:30, we will have our child and youth program resuming with Kathy Fanny. Everything got canceled during October, so it'll be good to rejuvenate and join in on all of our activities again in November. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing together hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And now, as Becky Ross comes forward to light the chalice, please join in reciting the words in your order of service. As we light our chalice, let us ask ourselves how we can become good relatives of all people and all living beings on our planet Earth. At this time in our service, we invite you to come forward and share some of those wonderful joys in your life and also any sorrows that you are feeling. Please come forward. Marge?
Good morning. I'm Marge DeGalbo. I'm chair of the board of directors, and I have two things. Yesterday, we had a great group of people who came, cleaned up all the debris, washed all the windows, power washed our building, cleaned up everything, and it looks so much better. Thank you all. You were great. And now we have a great joy. We've been struggling on the board and in finance. We have a very large deductible for our insurance. And we know we need work. The adjuster has been here. We have not heard back from them or what they're going to pay. But a week or so ago, we filed an application with the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. And John Conrad got a letter from them the other day, and it says, oh, wait a minute, where'd it go? I want to let you know that a check for $16,350 from the UUA Disaster Relief Fund will be heading your way as soon as possible. This is really going to help us out. It's going to allow us to do the repairs that we need to have done. So thank you, John. Thank you, the UUA. Thank you.
I have a great joy to share with you, and that joy is being here and seeing all these faces before me. I love you all so much. It's been a very difficult time. My home was flooded, and I don't know when I'll get back into it, but wonderful things have happened despite all this. A group of high schoolers came and emptied my flooded garage for me. And a group of church members from the Summit Church came and tore up the carpeting that was soaking wet in my house. And just so much outreach from all of our community here, from our family. I can't thank you enough, all of you who have offered to help. And Ray and Laura, Ray Ellis and Laura Snow have been housing me, and that's been a great joy for me to know that I have this family here. My sons came, two of my sons came, helped me pack up what remains of my belongings in the house. So I feel greatly supported. I feel very, very grateful to all of you. Thank you.
And Joan, while you're here, I'd like you to present this check to Holly Rowan for the Reset Center from the Climate Action Team. Holly, would you come up? And you can light your candle. Thank you, Joan. Next.
I'm Tina Noel, and I'd like to tell you about my joy that was 5 years delayed. I have sent in my deposit for the 11th annual Florida UU Women's Retreat next spring. So Irma waylaid it. Ian's not gonna stop it. I'm going this spring. And Regina has information if anybody else would like to join me.
Hi, Sharon Gray, and could you move over a little bit? The very, very last row, which I don't think I've ever sat in, is my youngest son, Jason, and next to him his wife, Tony. They're from Central California on the coast. And he's here to help me and my daughter. We've been working him like a dog. Please be kind to him. He's a little bit burned. Son's a little stronger here, but I love them both. And it's my joy.
Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Blessed Samhain, blessed be, blessed be. I just want to say I'm back, and I've been in California since May. I did do my graduation May 14th with my doctorate in education, with emphasis in leadership and higher education.
Yay!
Just found out some good news from ProQuest. My dissertation is going to be published. My home is fine. I just have a little bit of damage in front of my front door, but my roof is fine. Everything is fine. I have wonderful neighbors who've been looking after it while I've been gone, and I think I am now going to be bi-coastal. But you will always be my first home. I love you all very much. I will be here until November 30th, and then Thanksgiving week, I'll be on the other side. A childhood friend asked me to spend Thanksgiving. In fact, I have a lifetime invitation with her, so at least I have somewhere to go for the holidays. I'm glad to be back. The humidity is helping me know that I am a native Floridian, and blessed be.
And Vanessa, we want to hear you singing again.
There is more peace somewhere.
Good morning.
She's our hat lady. Usually it's the gators. Now she has other critters today.
We've had some wonderful things to celebrate just now. I'm not here to talk about celebration. All it takes for evil to win is for good men to do nothing. Out in California, a guy with a hammer broke into the home of the leader of our government, in my view. Thousands of Americans rejoice. Our country is finally split, and I'm almost afraid that it's too late to bring us back together. I'm saying to you, if you haven't contributed in some way to a group that supports our country, it's probably not too late. You can give money, you can work with an organization, you can ask somebody, what can I do to strengthen our country? I don't have any answers. Thank you for listening.
Let's light a candle for America.
Oh, yeah.
And let's all be one United States again. And I light this candle for all of you who have joys and sorrows in your hearts, but I think Greg had something he wanted to share here.
Thank you. Can I have that instead? I'll swap you. That's better, thank you.
You always bring so much light.
Yeah. And volume, so I don't know that I need this either. So, as many of you know, some weeks back, the two of us were engaged, and we're looking forward to our wedding next week. A joy and that we have is that when Ian took out the place we were going to have the wedding, we were given a second option of a venue, which is right here. So, so following next Sunday's service, at 3 o'clock here will be a wedding, and if you who are here would like to attend, you are welcome to do so. So wanted to share that.
And that is indeed a great joy. Greg is one of our worship associates, and sometimes he gives sermons, and one of our members has a friend who lives in Sarasota, and he says Greg should become a minister. Now, at this time, I'd like to ask all of you, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let us turn our minds and our hearts to today's service and count our blessings. Please rise in body or spirit as you are able as we sing together hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our opening words today are from an email that was sent to me by Gary Robbins, who's a member of UCFM and active on our climate action team and a great environmentalist here in Southwest Florida. So I asked him, hey, can I read that at our service? And he said yes. So with his permission. When my son was 10 years old, he taught me a wonderful lesson. He was in second place in a BMX bicycle race when the first place boy showed off to the audience, not seeing my son approaching from his blind side. My son pedaled really hard and won the race by about one wheel. By the time the other boy knew something was up, he couldn't recover in time. Now, following the race, Graham, my son, and I had a great discussion about the event and what we might learn from it. We decided that in the BMX bicycle race of life, whatever form that may take, you should always pedal hard until your rear wheel is across the finish line. At my age, I've learned that it is really helpful to be able to slow down, meditate, think things through, enjoy your friends, etc. But when it comes to all the environmental issues with which we are presently confronted, it is impossible for me to give up. I am committed to pedal hard until my rear end wheel is across the finish line. We, of course, never know when the race will be over for each of us, but when we have the Celtic understanding of the sacredness of every plant, animal, or thing that has being, it is my desire to expand the knowledge of the sacredness of all our relations, which is one sure way that we can establish a possibility of Earth recreating the plenty which she so desires. And now Carlos will sing Family.
are a family like a giant tree branching out toward the sky. We are a family. We are so much more than just you and I. What about what I need? What about what's best for me? What about what I feel? What about me? What about me? It's more than you. It is more than me. No matter what we are a family. The dream is for all of us. This one can be real, and you can't stop us now because of how you feel. It's more than you. It is more than me. Whatever dreams we are, they're for the family. We're not alone anymore. Now there are others there. And that dream's big enough for all of us to share. So don't think you're going anywhere. You're staying and taking your share. And if you feel afraid again, I'll be there. We are a family like a giant tree branching out toward the sky. We are a family. We are so much more than just you and I. We are a family like a giant tree, growing stronger, and we are growing free. We need you. We are a family.
Thank you, Carlos. Today our reading is, what are pigs for? What are animals for? Our culture is deeply confused about this question. The answer seems to be determined primarily by two things: arbitrary cultural trends and how tasty we find their flesh. Consider how we in the United States treat pigs versus how we treat dogs. In most corners of the US, pigs are for food and dogs are for companionship, with dogs often rising to the status of family members. In other cultures, particularly in Southeast Asia, dogs are considered food. More than 1 million dogs are eaten for food annually in South Korea. In some places, pigs are considered animal companions. It makes sense in a way that pigs and dogs occupy similar places in different cultures, as they are similar in terms of intelligence and sociability. Surely you've heard, in pursuit of the goal of maximizing what farmer magazines refer to as protein units per square foot, pigs spend much of their lives in crates, small enough that they can't turn around or even lie down. Such an unspeakably cruel practice was rightfully banned in California in 2018 by Proposition 12, a ballot measure that regulated confinement of animals and even banned maltreatment by farms that export pig meat to the state. But some pig meat producers have challenged Proposition 12, and that challenge will be decided by the Supreme Court during the upcoming term. That's kind of scary. The case will depend on fairly fine and even esoteric legal questions, but one central question will be fundamental. What are pigs for? The answer can be found in the Bible, as well as in Catholic theological insights that arise from studying the Bible. Puzzled by this claim? Befuddled? Scandalized? Hear me out. Answering the question, what are animals for, is a Christian issue. More than that, getting Christians on board with animal protection might change our culture in ways that it needs to be changed. In the 2 opening chapters of the Bible, non-human animals are said to be created and called good by God, each according to their kind. On the same day, God created human animals. These animals are created by God and brought to Adam because it is not good for him to be alone, reads the book of Genesis. Now, Adam and Eve are given fruits and vegetables to eat. Eating animals only comes later, after human sin has screwed up the ways God intended us to live. So this is one biblical answer to the question, what are animals for? When Pope Benedict XVI was asked in 2002 about factory farming, he answered this very serious question by saying it was problematic because it contradicted a biblical vision of the relationship between human beings and animals. Pope Francis built on Benedict's vision, even insisting that Jesus' mother Mary mourns the suffering of these animals. The Catechism of the Catholic Church tries to inhabit this complex space by teaching that while it is acceptable to use animals for food and clothing, we human beings nevertheless owe them kindness. We owe them kindness. That is the kind of space currently inhabited, too, by the state of California. While not banning pig meat altogether, the state nevertheless insists that pigs be treated with kindness, or at least not with abject cruelty. And it is right to do so. There is absolutely no way we can witness to the fact that God created pigs good, that God wills for pigs to flourish according to their kind, while allowing for merciless and cruel practices like putting them in gestation crates. So here's our final answer. Pigs are not for using as if they are mere objects or protein units. Pigs are fellow creatures, creatures God created good, and we are all bound to respect the will and design of our Creator with regard to these creatures. And now I invite you to rise and body your spirit as you are able, as we sing together hymn number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. The words are printed on your order of service.
All creatures of the earth and sky, come, kindred, lift your voices high. Hallelujah.
it's my great pleasure to invite Holly Rowland to deliver her message to us today about being good relatives. And I consider her as my soul sister, so I guess that's being a relative, huh?
Yes, it
Holly,
is.
we're so thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay, very good. I'm going to do my little slide method. I wasn't going to write a sermon this morning because I've been so busy. But last night, I had to wash my windows finally. Oh my goodness, did that make a difference? So in between washing the windows, I put down a few thoughts, and I hope I won't talk too long. I'm so happy to be with all of you here at All Faith. 1 month after Hurricane Ian crashed over our community and changed many of our lives forever. What a wake-up call from Mother Nature. I know many of you have suffered much devastation, like Joan, like Louis, like our friends Bob and Ariel, who came to help us when their house was destroyed, and others whose stories here I may not have heard yet. My heart is with you all, and I really feel what you're going through, because I know firsthand what a hard and exhausting month this has been for so many of us. I think this has been the most difficult month of my own life. And I completed 70 years in the middle of this aftermath. This has been and will be very hard work for all of us for a while. And it's going to take a lot of patience and perseverance. So many lessons have come already in the aftermath of this hurricane, and so many opportunities to help others. Climate justice is really on my mind. We all are learning to be better relatives. And today, I'm standing here this morning with a renewed spark of hope and commitment in my heart. It really sank in deeply for me yesterday in an interfaith prayer service and water blessing ceremony that I had the privilege to lead at a park on the river in Dunbar. We had great speakers. Mr. Mohammed from the Quality Life Center came. My friend Nettie Arstudillo from Green Faith International in Green Faith, Florida came. My friend Marta Mateas from Guatemala, who is a Maya priestess, did an opening ceremony for us. And we poured blessed and sacred water into the Caloosahatchee River with love, respect, and gratitude. We gathered in lamentation and songs and prayers with renewed hope and even laughter. There was a common thread in all that was said and shared yesterday, and that was to heal our own hearts before we can become healers for the rest of the earth and for each other, to heal our own hearts. I've been working on that this week really hard myself. And we learned and reiterated that our Mother Earth is crying out for climate justice and for us to change the way that we live. I'm witnessing a much larger beloved community emerge from the rubble of a way of life that we can no longer sustain. I'm so glad that this sanctuary survived. It made me so happy to drive by and see that All Faith was intact. I know there was a lot of cleanup to do, and we all are doing a lot of cleanup on a lot of levels, I think. I hope that in this service, we can pause for just a minute, for a moment, for our own self-healing. Maybe put our hands on our own heart center. Let us celebrate the resilience that nature is teaching us now, this month, and this day. Watch everything bloom. And so I want to speak a land acknowledgement here. We honor the First Nations that once lived and thrived here in Southwest Florida, the ancient Calusa peoples, who no longer exist that we know of. And I want to acknowledge the present day true stewards of the greater Everglades and all living creatures and plants of Florida, the Seminole and the Miccosukee tribes of Indians. I also want to acknowledge that my dear friends Gary Robbins and Sima and Linda Seacrest are here, and Gary is our treasurer of the Southwest Florida Reset Center, and Linda is our beloved president. And I am here not only as a UU and a member of the sister church, but I'm here as a resetter because it's time to reset. I originally chose the title Being a Good Relative before Hurricane Ian because of an awesome curriculum that some of us in 4 different UU congregations have been working on. Our nonprofit, the Southwest Florida Reset Center, received a grant last March to work with a number of Southwest Florida UU congregations on a UUSC project focused on seeking to be in right relationship with our indigenous communities, especially around climate displacement and protecting sacred lands. Wow, we didn't know what we were in for. We committed to work together with an indigenous partner, and we chose the Reverend Houston Cypress, founder of Love the Everglades movement. It's been an awesome 7 months of working together, meeting every Monday afternoon, studying and adapting the suggested curriculum to the very special and unique place that we call Florida, the Everglades, and the Miccosukee and the Seminole tribes. After the first meeting with Houston, we began to study, I meant to bring that book up. Maybe Liz, you can just raise it up and show it, the bottom one. We began to study a book written by a dear old friend of mine, Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz, called An Indigenous People's History of the United States. We've studied this book to become grounded in understanding of the true indigenous history that we never learned in school, like Black history too. White settler colonialism, genocide, the doctrine of discovery, the Trail of Tears. We learned a lot that we did not know. We read story by story, and we cried and we wept, and we felt many levels of pain and also shame as white people. My own white settler ancestors were mentioned in that book, and some of our own Unitarian Universalist heroes like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau were named in that book as participating in the move west and the annihilation of the First Nations people. Ouch. Ouch. But we're not going to dwell on that shame. We need to know it, and then we need to move forward. So the main thing I'm learning from this so far is to listen more deeply to indigenous wisdom and to the rhythms of nature that we are all called to be stewards of now. I am learning to forgive myself. That's this healing work I've been working on. And I forgive my ancestors as well in order to move forward in community and service. I'm glad my ancestors survived, or I would not be here today with you. They moved west. They did some horrible things, but they were survivors too. How many of you were here on Earth Day when Betty Osceola spoke here in the pulpit? Show of hands. A lot of you. Great. Well, I feel like this project that we're working on and this talk this morning, what I have to say is totally connected to Betty's talk those many months ago. One of the things that Betty said was to respect and embrace our own ancestors, families, and cultures. We can't all be Indians. Hello. Good to see you, Ramadevi. My ancestors were Celtic, most of them. And my Celtic background makes me love this time of year that some people call Halloween. The veil is thin, according to these teachings, and our ancestors and our beloved dead draw near. We call it Samhain in Celtic. So let's call them in now. Let's call our ancestors in now. Let's call in our helpers to be with us, because the veil really is thin in my experience. And this is the time. They may be able to guide us if we listen deeply. They were all survivors. So, being a good relative is about respecting and protecting Native sovereignty and culture. It is about caring for nature. We might even change this title of this program that we're doing to something about stewardship, being a good steward. Because just recently, after everything got shook up by the storm, Houston said that, being a good relative is more a Lakota Sioux expression, and more the Miccosukee approach and language that we should use should be about stewardship. So, back to the drawing board. So, in any case, I'm inviting all of you here, all of you or any of you, if so moved, to participate in a UU Broad, Southwest Florida Reset Center, Miccosukee curriculum, whatever it will be called. We want to include you in this experience of building a more resilient and beloved community with all of our relations, and how to let our Indigenous relatives take the lead as we enter this next phase of our lives with our eyes and our hearts more wide open. I'm learning the lesson that we cannot make just reparations for the genocide and the settler and extraction colonialism that has happened. But we can begin to really listen deeply to the voice of nature, as well as listen to the voices of the true stewards of the Everglades, these waterways and springs and sacred places of Florida that are disappearing quickly. Development, extraction of fossil fuels, here in Florida, in Big Cypress, and sea level rise are all threatening this state and the world. So if you want to join us, here is what will we be offering starting in January, online, Monday evenings. Through a series of workshops, discussions, books, music, and additional resources, congregations will be given the tools for rooting themselves in how to be in right relationships with nature, with the land, the water, and our local Indigenous communities. Congregations will be prepared to be in the practice of following the leadership of the tribes as allies, relatives, and co-stewards. Ongoing support will be given to congregations throughout and after completing the project for connecting with the work happening in our communities around sovereignty, the right to resist, and other local advocacy programs. And UU Justice Florida and our friend and grant partner Jan Boer will be helping with us with this ongoing. How many of you know Jan? I know Joan does, because we've worked together on projects before. Resiliency projects after storms in Dunbar. We have a ways to go with that. So, additionally, this project is an opportunity for congregations that are green sanctuaries or forming ministries for Earth to connect with their climate justice efforts to the environmental racism and justice struggles in congregational organizing. We, our core group of 7 people, including Houston, are doing this work together, including Joan, to give us the depth and the background we need to be good co-facilitators and hosts of this program. We are also clear that we do not want to dwell as much on this horrific past as much as to explore where we can build and nurture our relationships in these communities moving forward. We hope with Houston's guidance and also the guidance of Betty O to create the opportunities to really listen to our local indigenous relatives who truly do hold the key of how to live in harmony on this earth. This will help us to dismantle settler colonialism through loving. And Love the Everglades movement will be a good place to start. And I think Houston is going to be in this pulpit soon. Am I correct? Houston Cypress is coming here? We've invited him, but we haven't said it. He's going to come. We're going to make sure he's going to come. He's hard to tie down, that Houston, but we'll bring him here. Different iterations of the course that we're offering have been in different parts of the country. One of them was on Line 3, where they're protesting the pipelines. And one of them was in Texas, and we attended it online. Each time this course has been given, called Being a Good Relative, it's changed and it's adapted to the region that it was. So we attended this without Houston, a program that was sponsored by UUSC, the San Antonio, Texas UU Justice Committee, and Juan Mancias, who is the tribal chairman of the Carrazo Comecrudo tribe of Texas. And we learned a lot about what we would want to do and what we don't want to do in that curriculum. We all agreed that we needed to do it differently, so we've been rewriting it, which will be presented in January, as I said, on Monday evenings. Our objective is to listen to the unique and specific needs in our Florida indigenous communities and their relatives, and learn how we can be better allies to them. We hope to eventually, after presenting the course, to participate in the statewide UU Justice Florida Resilience Network that will answer the calls to protect the sacred in whatever ways are asked of us. The work of this grant, and also for us as UUs, is to learn the truth, like in the Black Lives Matter work that we've embarked on, and to continue to come to terms with the knowledge and the information of our own nation's history as we reach out and interact with it from a place of humility, not of shame and guilt. Houston and Betty both have talked to us about the importance of focusing more on our relationships with nature, with trees, with plants, with the critters, with the water, and each other. This is the essence of our seventh principle: respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Coming into right relationship with our indigenous relatives is also part of the newly evolving eighth principle. Have you guys talked about that here at All Faith? Good. Awesome. Okay. So the eighth principle, journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountability dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. We understand that getting out into the larger community may be really a challenge for us, especially now after the hurricane. But we need to do it in whatever small ways we can. And the Southwest Florida Reset Center really wants to help. So I'd like to end with this quote, thanks to Gary Robbins, again, from a book that he just shared with me called Sacred Earth, Sacred Soul by John Philip Newell, which explores Celtic spirituality. At the heart of our being, in the heart of all being, is the beat of the divine. We do not have to invoke or summon it from afar. It is here and now, always here and now. The invitation is to awaken to the sacred, to open to it, and in knowing it deep within us, to know that we are a part of it, and in being a part of it, to know that we are part of one another and of everything in the cosmos, the sacred interrelationship of all being. All we ever need to know, in the words of mystic Pierre de Chardin, Teilhard de Chardin, is that the very heart of the earth beats within us. Thank you for all our relations. Blessed be.
Thank you, Holly, for the wonderful message that you shared. Life is all about loving relationships. Relationship with each other, with our families, with nature, with all that is, with all creation. And we must do everything we can to protect and preserve all living things. And we're so grateful that we have so many people here who are very active with our climate action team and our racial justice team, LGBTQ team, and homeless team, and all of the groups that are working to establish more loving relationships in our community. And speaking of beloved family, and it's time to support our family. This is a time when we take our morning offering, and I appreciate your great generosity in supporting all of the services and employees and activities of all faiths. So our morning offering will now be taken.
Remember when I was young and so were you. Time stood still and love was all we knew. You were the first, so was I. We made love and then you cried. Remember when? Remember when we vowed the vows and walked the walk, gave our hearts, made the start, and it was hard. You lived and learned life through curves. There was joy and there was hurt. Remember when? Danced from week to week, brought back the love we found, trust, vowed we'd never give it up. Remember when? Remember when 30-something seemed too old. Now looking back, it's just a stepping stone to where we are, where we've been. Said we'd do it all again. Remember when? Remember when we said when we turned gray, when the children up and move away,
So I have a final prayer, and it's an invocation from an old friend of mine named Starhawk. And Starhawk actually has helped me and Liz by texting me a lot of information about how to do bioremediation of our soil and the walls of our home. And we've killed most of the mold in a natural way. So I'm so grateful to Starhawk. And this is her invocation called She on the Tip of Her Tongue. We give thanks to all those who are moved in their lives to heal and protect the earth in small ways and in large. Blessings on the composters, the gardeners, the breeders of worms and mushrooms, the soil builders and those who cleanse the waters and purify the air, and all those who clean up the messes that others have made. Blessings on all those who defend trees and who plant trees and who guard forests and who renew the forests. Blessings on those who learn to heal the grasslands and renew the streams, on those who prevent erosion, who restore the salmon and the fisheries, who guard the healing herbs and know the lore of the wild plants. Blessings on those who heal the cities and bring them alive again with excitement and creativity and love. Gratitude and blessings to all those who stand against greed, who risk themselves, to those who have bled and been wounded, and to those who have given their lives in service to the earth. May all the healers of the earth find their own healing. May they be fueled by passionate love for the earth. May they know their fear, but not be stopped by fear. May they feel their anger, yet not be ruled by rage. May they honor their grief, but not be paralyzed by sorrow. May they transform fear, rage, and grief into compassion and the inspiration to act in service of what they love. May they find the help, the resources, the courage, the luck, the strength, the love, the health, the joy that they and we need to do this work. May we be in the right place at the right time in the right way. May they and all of us bring alive a great awakening, opening a listening ear to hear the earth's voice, transform imbalance to balance, hate and greed to love. Blessed be the healers of the earth. Blessed be.
And now something very, very special. Did you ever think you'd get to howl in church? Well, here at All Faith, we embrace all spiritual traditions, including a little howling and even a little hooting if you want. So Carlos, he invites us to join in the Werewolves of London when we get to the ooh.
And can we
Carlos.
dedicate this to 2 men and 2 dogs in London? I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for a place called P.F. Chang's. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo, one more time. Wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo. He's like a hairy, gented man with a monk in his Kent. Lately he's been overwhelmed and Mayfair. You'd better stay away from him. He'll rip out your lungs. I'd like to meet his tailor. Wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo, wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo. Well, I saw Lon Chaney walking with the Queen, doing the werewolves of London. I saw Lon Chaney Jr. walking with the Queen, doing the werewolves of London. I saw a werewolf drinking pina colada at Trader Vic's. His hair was perfect. Wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo. One more time. Wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo. One more time. Wahoo, werewolves of London. Wahoo. Good for you.
Oh, I'm from Wolf Country. Minnesota had the last remaining wolves in America back in the 1970s, and the president of our Sierra Club formed the group called HOWL, Help Our Wolves Live. His name, he was an American Indian named Richard Thorpe, and they succeeded in transplanting wolves from Minnesota out to the national parks and all the west and Yellowstone, and now they're thriving throughout there. So I have a great affinity for wolves. And thank you, Carlos, for bringing that bit of Halloween joy to our service today. We need all the joy we can get, don't we? Yes, we do. All right. So I want to thank Holly for her wonderful, inspiring message, and we want to learn more about the program that you're starting in January so that our people can participate. And Carlos, thank you for the great music as always. And we appreciate Regina on the camera, and Ed Elrod on the sound, and Joe Gayton, our sexton, and all of our greeters and the people who are serving our ice cream today. So now, as I invite Becky Ross to come forward, please recite the words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Go now in peace, but join us in the social hall. Today is Ice Cream Sunday, and you can have coffee and conversation with all our wonderful people. And we're grateful to have our visitors here from our sister congregation, UUCFM, today. So love to all of you, and let's hoot it up a little. Hoot!